What's up, Moto fans? Michael here at Moto Machines.
And this is Andrew.
And today we're going to be talking about how to do your first track day. Now, step numero uno, number one, hop on Google and just search motorcycle track day, motorcycle racing, or even motorsports park near me. And you are sure to find some things on the first page of Google.
Yeah, just search up whatever the nearest track is, I would say. There's usually more than you would expect depending on your area. Like, you may not even know they exist, but there's plenty of them. Just check their websites. They probably have a lot of information there about, which groups go there, what type of riding they do, and their websites, and how to, get signed up for your first track day, which around here, the two main ones that we deal with are Evolve GT and what was the other one?
N2 track days.
N2, yep.
Yeah.
Which we did Evolve GT for our first one last year, which was good. That was my first track day, and they give you, for the first time, they give you free rental gear, which is like a really low cost to just jump in and do your first track day.
Yeah, that is super awesome that they do that. And today we will be, or tomorrow I should say, we're going to be going to Summit Point, Maine, which is our home track. It's only an hour away from us. With N2 track days, and that'll be a ton of fun. I've ridden with N2 in the past. I really like them. Andrew has not, so there'll be a totally new experience for him. But next up is going to be making sure your bike and gear are in order, but we're gonna start with gear. Now, like Andrew mentioned, Evolve GT's got a really great thing where, if it's your first day on track, they also have a deal. It's $149 for your first day on track, but you also have the option to a free gear rental if they have the extra gear. So that means suit, boots, gloves. So you don't even need to have all of that stuff to do your first day and jump in.
Yeah, it lowers the barrier of entry to nothing, because you don't need to spend $1,000 on gear just to find out you don't like track riding.
Yeah, it's not for everybody. This is a very high performance activity for riding, and some people just don't enjoy that. They ride their bikes to get out away from stresses of life and just to enjoy the weather. And other people like myself are self-proclaimed adrenaline junkies and will do anything to get a little piece of that riding crack. But that's not everybody. So it's really great that Evolve GT has that super low barrier to entry, so that you don't even have to have that gear to jump on track.
Also, I'd like to mention these organizations, especially Evolve GT, they do really good training programs. So you can go in, get trained for free about the track. They tell you everything about the track, everything to expect. They take you out with a group of other beginner riders. They go really slow. They teach you all the lines. So it's extremely safe, and it's not that scary actually once you get into it. Yeah.
You heard it first from first-time track rider. Yeah. Not that scary once you get into it. All right, second point, your bike. You got to make sure that your bike is ready to go. No leaks. It's got to be in mechanical tip-top shape. You have to remove all your mirrors, which we're going to throw in some B-roll of that stuff throughout this video while we're talking about this on this portion. But you have to remove your mirrors, tape up your lights, you don't have to have a prepped race bike to go do this. I mean, I've seen BMW GS's, I've seen cruisers, I've seen literally everything and anything on track. As long as it's mechanically safe and you're familiar with the bike, you're gonna have a good time.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll go over obviously what we have to do. I will mention, for my first track day, we took the 2006 Daytona out, which is basically a race bike. But yet again, it was not quite set up right. We were doing some last minute fixes on it, and we weren't too thorough with it. The fairings were coming off mid-session, and it wasn't running very well. What else was wrong with it?
A lot.
The brakes were no good.
Yeah.
It was sketchy. I didn't have any brakes going 140. So that was
all right.
sketchy.
Well, make sure your bike is buttoned down. No leaks, mechanically good shape, and you will be just fine. You'll have the time of your life. Again, you don't need a race prep bike to go do this. Literally, whatever you're riding right now works, and I guarantee you will learn more in one day than you will have in your entire street riding career.
Very true.
All right, next up is going to be food and snacks and water. It is paramount that you bring enough of this stuff because hydration is key. This is a very high performance activity. You will be sweating, you will be out of breath, and you you need to stay hydrated, especially in these hot summer months that are coming up. You know, it's May right now, but we've already had a couple 90-degree days this year, and it has been brutally hot. And I can tell you firsthand, riding in 110-degree heat with 80% humidity, if you're not hydrated, you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah, you definitely need to pack more water and food than you think, and especially water or any kind of drinks that you like to drink that will hydrate you. The first day that I went out it was like probably close to 90 degrees. It was really hot, and I had probably a half gallon of water or more.
AKA not enough.
Yeah, exactly, not enough. You need to bring at least like a gallon of water plus, you know, Gatorades and other drinks that you like, because you will go through it quicker than you could ever imagine.
Yeah, I highly recommend staying away from energy drinks or caffeine, as that will dehydrate you. I would just stick to something that has electrolytes and a lot of water. Even those little hydration tablets or salt packets for hydration in general. Pedialyte is awesome as well. Just make sure, you know, you're consuming that stuff in a it's got a lot of sugar in it, so just keep that in mind. That'll dehydrate you as well. So within reason, and you'll be okay. Snacks, you're gonna be hungry. There's an hour-long lunch break usually. And you also have time between sessions. Usually sessions are about 15 to 20 minutes long. If you're in a group, you usually have 40 to 30 minutes in between your sessions. So you'll want to be snacking between that. You don't have to be eating all the time, but you know, you don't want to be hungry, because then your body doesn't have energy. Energy and hydration are what's going to make you last the entire day, because this is extremely exhausting.
Yeah, and I'd like to mention too, just make sure to get a good cooler, because it actually makes a huge difference for the water to be cold. It's way more refreshing. It reinvigorates you rather than just like lukewarm water or, you know, ambient temperature water, which is actually not that good.
Yeah, and again, in that summer heat, you don't want to come off a racetrack and then that's already very hot, sweating on a hot bike, only to drink hot water.
Yeah, exactly.
It just sucks. All right, number 2, shade. Yep. Shade is paramount, much like snacks and water. You need it.
Probably just as important, I would say, especially if you have lighter skin. Michael.
Yeah, I got pretty sunburned last weekend, but that's besides the point. But yes, if you're prone to sunburns, or even just in general, you should have shade. If you don't need a canopy. You don't need a beach umbrella. Most of the time, you know, you can either sit in the shade of your car, but that's kind of annoying and doesn't give you much room to do. No. But honestly, if you don't have a canopy or an umbrella or anything large like that, your best bet is just to make friends with the person next to you in the paddock. If you're like, hey, this is my first time, I don't have shade this time around, is there any way that we can split shade? Or if you have an extra room or an extra umbrella or something, the track community is absolutely awesome, and they will absolutely step up to the plate and help you out, as long as they're not total like germaphobes or, you know, stay away from me, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Like, I don't like people, which is very few and far between. You should be absolutely okay. They would be more than happy to share their shade with you.
True, but it's easy enough to get your own shade, honestly. I wouldn't go without it. And if you're planning to do even just a couple a year, just go to Harbor Freight or whatever. Get the pop-up canopies. They're probably like $60 or something. It'll save you. It'll give you somewhere to hang your suit. It'll give you shade. It'll protect you from the sun. It'll let you relax. Also, make sure you bring a chair. You don't want to stand. Just like relax between sessions so you can recuperate your energy for the next one.
Yeah. And it should be worth mentioning that a lot of people do ride to the track. I've seen it a multitude of times. You know, you don't need all this extra gear to do your first day. You can make friends. There's oftentimes shade too at the park, depending on at the motorsports park, depending at where you are and what track. Sometimes there's a lot of trees overhanging into the paddock area. Or again, you just make friends. But you can absolutely ride your bike to the track. You don't need all this gear to do everything. You know, I've seen it plenty of times before. I personally won't do it myself because I like to drive home at the end of the day because I'm so exhausted. I don't want to ride a motorcycle home, but a ton of people ride to the track and you will be perfectly okay doing so.
Yeah, and if you're just getting into it for your first day, yeah, you can just do that. You don't even have to do all the sessions. If you just want to try it out, just ride your bike there and do it that way.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, next up is going to be basically the other essentials besides food, water, shade. That's going to be some sort of toolkit You don't need everything in the book, even your standard motorcycle toolkit that some bikes come with, although less and less bikes are starting to come with toolkits now, which kind of sucks. But that'll get you by. You basically just need something that can adjust your chain if it's a little too loose or a little too tight. And then something to a basic wrench kit, a basic socket kit, and that's kind of it. Bring whatever your bike needs. If your bike has a ton of Torx bits, like Andrew's S1000XR, take a Torx bit set. If it's all Allens, take an Allen key set. If it's all just regular wrenches, take a wrench set.
Yeah, bikes don't really have a lot of fasteners that are different, so you can get away with a few tools and it'll do most of the jobs on the bike that you'll need. But like a basic mechanics toolkit, the double, what do you call it, clamp case kind that you can just have sockets and ratchets and wrenches, that'll pretty much do everything you need.
Yeah, that's what I use. It gets me by. Next up is going to be safety gear. We already touched on this a little bit, and if it seems like we're kind of blitzing through things, it's because I don't want the video to be too long, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other footage that we want to show you and are excited to show you. But safety gear is paramount. A lot of organizations, if it is your very first day, you can reach out to them by email. And if you have, say, a one-piece or two-piece textile suit, they might let you get away with that if it's your very first day. So it's worth asking if you have that already. And if not, that's perfectly okay. You'll need a set of one-piece leathers or a two-piece set of leathers that zip together. I think it has to be, and it depends on the organization, at least 180 degrees zip, but I think most of the time it's 360. But again, like Andrew said, Evolve GT has a great option where if it's your first day, you get a set of rental leathers for free. So that is absolutely awesome.
Which means they actually give you boots, gloves, and the full suit. So all you need is your helmet.
Yeah, all you need is your helmet and a bike in decent mechanical shape. But that's all, I think, all we referencing our piece of paper here with notes. Yeah. I think that's really all we have for you right now. So
the rest of it's just going to be showing you our setup and our bikes, and actually maybe some track footage of our next track day or something.
Yeah, I think so. Stay tuned.